to the lunch break with Pretty Darn Crazy. I'm super excited. Today is our first episode. Woo woo! But first, I definitely have to thank God for allowing me this opportunity. He dropped this vision for this podcast in my spirit over the course of the quarantine, and I feel super blessed, because I get to share my experiences and my journey in this capacity, and to be able to connect with so many amazing people like you, right? And that way you're able to share your experiences and your journey with me as well. And so I'm super excited, and I thank you guys for tuning in with me today. And so first off, I definitely want to lay some foundation. That way you guys get a chance to know a little bit about Pretty Darn Crazy. And so first off, yes, I am pretty darn crazy about my purpose and about what God has called for me to do. Secondly, I am a God-fearing entrepreneur and a fearless leader. I'm driven, I'm motivated, I'm hardworking, I'm creative, I'm, what's that song? I'm a savage. Classy, bougie, married. Yes, I'm all of that. But I'm passionate. I'm a crybaby at times, you guys. I'm an introvert and an extrovert as well, which is like a pretty weird combination. But, I'm the woman for the job, and I'm ready to fulfill my purpose. And so we're going to go on this journey together during the lunch break. And so I know you guys are like, so what's up with the lunch break? And so traditionally, we use the lunch break time to re-energize ourselves, prepare for the second half of the day, make sure we're finishing strong. And so, we use it to feed our bodies. We use it to, read and feed our minds. But now it's very important that we're using that time to feed our spirit. See, I know how important it is to have people in your circle to affirm you, to motivate you, and to most importantly, hold you accountable. And that's exactly what we're going to do here on this podcast. So when you're on your lunch break and you're spending it with Pretty Darn Crazy, we're going to make sure we're motivating each other. We're going to make sure that we're taking each other to the next level. And God is going to use me in a way that's not going to leave no room for slack, no room for lack. We're going to make sure that we're moving, because right now it's all about movement and using what God has given you to get you to the next level. And so if you're pretty darn crazy about what God has called for you to do, and you're ready to get pretty darn crazy about that thing, then this is the number one podcast that you should be listening to. So let's get into it. And so today's episode topic is your purpose is in your personality. And we're going to talk about 3 strategies that you're going to use in order to identify your purpose. Yes, we have to be strategic. And so the first strategy is getting in alignment with God. And I know you guys are like, why that one? Right? But God is the one who gave us life. God is the one who gave us purpose. And so how can we not align ourselves with the one who has the keys to our success? Right? And so I get it, because, I'm a West Philly girl, born and raised, you know what I mean? And so for me, that was the hard one too, because it's like, why do I got to do that? Why do I have to give those things up? I don't find that nowhere in the Bible. So, why do I have to do that? Right? But it starts off with a conversation. And the conversation is, simply, God, what is it that you would have for me to do? And so it's important, because what he said to me was, I had to put God first. And so what that means is, not only do I have to do something, I also have to give something up. And see, because we can come to God as we are, and we can walk with God our entire life and not actually fulfill our purpose. And so we have to be ready and done, right? So you have to be ready to do what God has called you to do, and you have to be done with what's no longer needed. Okay. And so once you have that conversation with God, he's going to be able to reveal to you what it is that he will have for you to do. And so you want to make sure that you ask him for strength, because it's going to feel like it's the hardest thing that you have ever done. And so when you ask him for strength, you're going to be able to walk out of that conversation ready. right? And done, right? And so that strength is going to allow for you to gain confidence so that when you face reality again, boom, it's back. You know, you're able to say no to the version of you who's less than who God has called for you to be. And so that's when you gain that extra level. And so that's when your swag is a little different. Your walk is a little different. Your smile is a little different. Why? Because when you're insured by God, no weapon formed against you shall prosper. And so you're able to say no. Right? You're able to walk in faith. You're able to walk in your integrity. And so when you get in an alignment with God, you feel more confident in order to walk in your purpose. And so that's why that first step is so important. Get in alignment with God. Now, the second strategy that, I feel like is very important is preparing for your purpose. This philosophy I've used since, I was in my corporate experience and also when I transitioned into my entrepreneur experience. And I think God is the master of this philosophy. And the philosophy is this: you first want to make sure that you plan, you prepare, you practice, and then you put in the work. So let's rewind. So you plan, you prepare, you practice, and then you put in the work. And it starts off like this because when God, first thought about you, he planned for you, right? So he planned for you before you were even thought of. And then he prepared you by instilling in you everything that you were going to need in order to be successful and fulfill your purpose. Then he placed you in your mother's womb so that you were able to practice. Right? So you were able to practice moving your limbs. You were able to practice breathing. You were able to practice how you were going to live when you came outside the womb. And then he set a time for you to be birthed so that now you're able to put in the work. So you put in the work by learning how to walk, put in the work by learning how to talk, put in the work by learning what it is that God has for you to do. And guess what? That's the process. And some people don't want to fulfill that planning process, but to lay foundation, you have to plan for the project, right? And so that's, one of those steps that if you want to be successful, you have to be consistent with planning for your purpose. Now, after we've, took some time, we got in alignment with God, we planned for our purpose, now it's time to put in the work. And putting in the work is called execution, right? So you have to be willing to work harder than you've ever worked in your life. You have to be willing to get up early, stay late, right? You have to be willing to get out of your comfort zone. You have to be willing to, connect with people that don't look like you, that don't act like you, that's not in your normal circle. You have to be willing to invest your time, invest your money. Forget the shoes, forget the clothes, forget the vacations. It's all about movement, right? It's all about being ready and done with things that are no longer needed. And so execution is also making sure that you are the boss of your life. So that's making sure that you've done your research, you've done your due diligence. You're not delegating work that you're not familiar with. Granted, I know, building a team is important because I'm the master of building a team. I love to build a team and cultivate a team. And, when you build a team, everybody is focused on that common goal. And so you have a part to play and you have a part to play and you have a part to play. But guess what? I'm going to make sure that I know everybody's part. In case somebody was not ready and done, that's not going to stop my flow. That's not going to stop me getting to my purpose. And so I'm able to do my job and your job. And so that's when you know that you're the boss of your situation. And that's what's going to show that you're ready to be successful and get to the next level in life. And let me be very clear, it's not going to be easy. But nothing that's worth doing is going to be easy anyway. And so when you are feeling, defeated, and when, life comes at you, the distractions, the mistakes, the low intensity, when all of those things happen, you have to remind yourself that it's already in you. God already put your purpose in you. God already put your strength in you. God already put provision in you. And so that's half the battle, right? Because to be honest, you don't have to look for nothing. You don't have to look for nothing. All you have to do is be ready, right? And that reminds me, when we were younger, And we used to play those games where, we reached different levels and used to be excited about each level, but each level came with a different monster, a different challenge, right? And so even now in real life, we can't be scared of levels. Like, bring the levels, bring all the levels, right? Because to be honest with you, in the game, once you reach the highest level, the game was over. Like, and I'm not too ready for my game to be over. Like, I'm still like wanting things. Like, so bring on the levels, bring on the challenges, right? Because I'm ready to fulfill my purpose. And so if you're ready to fulfill your purpose, then you have to be strategic. And being strategic is first getting in alignment with God. Second, preparing for your purpose. And third, being able to put in that work. That's what shows that you're ready. And I know it's exciting. I'm excited for you guys. I'm excited for me. I'm excited for what God is doing in all of our lives. But we got to be ready and be ready to put in that work as well. And so I'm looking forward to this journey. Make sure that you guys tune in to Pretty Darn Crazy. See you guys.